Welcome everybody at the 5th episode of the 2nd season of Franky and Coen's Ukraine Insight. Firstly, a warm welcome to DIKEB.
Thank you for having me.
Coen, the friend of the show, Coen van Oosten.
And Frank Verhintem, our host.
And then we have live at the moment already Rick, the Ukrainian, if everything is right. Rick, are you here? Oh, Rick is not here yet. Well, then, like always, we start with the news. A lot in the news, of course, like every week. One of the main things which was very big news is that the Wagner volunteers supposedly have returned to the Ukraine.
Wagner forces running to fight in Ukraine. Some Wagner Group fighters are likely returning to fight in the ranks of the Russian occupation army in Ukraine. However, the mercenaries will not be able to help the invaders change the situation in their favor on the front line. The Institute for the Study of War said this. Disjointed Wagner Group contingents reportedly returning to fight in Ukraine are likely to have a marginal impact on Russian combat capabilities, the report said. According to ISW analysts, Wagner mercenaries will unlikely influence Russian combat capabilities without bringing the full suit of effectiveness Wagner had as a unitary organization under financier Yevgeny Prigozhin's and founder Dmitry Utkin's leadership. The ISW cites a statement by the former head of the Luhansk Regional Military Administration, Serhiy Haidai, on September the 23rd that Wagner personnel are operating in the Luhansk region and across different sectors of the front line. Haidai also stated that he did not know the number of Wagner personnel or the organization under which these Wagner personnel are operating in Ukraine. A Wagner-affiliated source claimed that about 500 Wagner personnel, including those who refused to participate in the Wagner rebellion, on June the 24th have joined a new unspecified organization organized by the former Wagner personnel department head and will likely return to Ukraine to fight on the southern flank of Bakhmut.
Well, Rick, now you are here.
Hi guys. Yes,
I introduced you, but you were not here yet. But doesn't matter. We are here now, complete. How are you doing, Rick? All good?
I'm good. Yes, thank you guys. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good to hear. We just started with the news, and one of the topics is that the Wagners have supposedly returned to the Ukraine. Did you hear about that as well?
Yeah, I heard that they are going to be joining the regular forces, Russian forces, regular military. So, but they are going to be teaching them because they have much experience and, you know, good training. So it's a sign for us, to be honest.
Yeah, we've heard that it might be even 8,000 of them. It's not as many as there was before, but it's still a lot. 8,000 Wagners joining the Russian army. It's not good. Not good news.
But are they under the Wagner Group or now, because Prigozhin is dead?
Probably.
Is now completely on the Russian army?
Yeah, it's actually either, I mean, both good and bad, because good because, you know, they're not going to be under command of that good leader as Prigozhin was, I guess. But this is still bad because Russian army is getting better now.
Yeah, well, not only bad news. Also in the news was about the 2 paratroopers. They have been in the occupied territories for 18 months and they have been liberated. The Ukrainian military rescued 2 paratroopers hiding in by Russian-controlled territory. The 2 Ukrainian soldiers were injured and stranded in occupied territory for 18 months. The special operation to return the military personnel was carried out by soldiers of the Navy and the main intelligence directorate of the Ukraine's Ministry of Defense. The Ukrainian intelligence received information that the 2 Ukrainian paratroopers had been in the occupied territory since the beginning of the full-scale invasion in 2022. They fought against Russian troops but were seriously wounded and were unable to independently get back to the Ukrainian-controlled territory. I think, Rick, you like this news?
Yeah, very good news and a fantastic story. You see, you should never give up in any circumstances. There's a chance to survive. So I'm so happy for these 2 guys.
Coen, you saw the news as well.
Yeah, it is very good news.
18 months in occupied territory.
How you survive, where you get your food.
Yeah, did they tell where they were?
They only said that. Yeah, they said that they have been people there who were living there helped them and hide them for the Russian army. You correct, Rick?
Yeah.
Yes.
But how many militaries are still behind the lines from Ukraine?
Hiding.
I wonder. We cannot know that, but I'm sure that there are some like them, because our people who are on occupied territory, civilians, I mean, they want to help our soldiers. If they find them, they will hide them, as just, during the World War II, civilians were hiding partisans in their homes. I'm very happy that this is happening.
Yes, more in the news, of course. Did you hear, Coen, about UEFA wanting to allow the junior teams to play again in the cups?
Ukrainian football teams are set to boycott UEFA competitions after the European governing body decided to lift a ban on Russia's youth sides. Restrictions had prevented Russia from taking part in the Women's European Championship and the World Cup qualifiers, to name a few. UEFA said in a statement that children should not be punished for the actions of adults, but clarified that senior teams at club and national levels would remain banned due to Russia's actions in Ukraine. The Ukrainian Association of Football urged UEFA to maintain the blanket ban and added that the decision is groundless and tolerates Moscow's aggression. Whilst England's Football Association said its youth teams would not play against Russia, UEFA President Alexander Seferin insisted that UEFA's continuing suspension against Russian adult teams reflected its commitment to take a stand against violence.
Koen, what do you think? They should make an exception for youth?
No.
So no, Russians are Russians?
No, the Russians, the children, they have to play football. But maybe the other team, the Russian, they have to football to each other. But with the idea that the Russians, the fathers from maybe the footballers from Russia, are fighting
their fathers.
Their fathers.
Yeah, so it's like a war on the football field. Rick? What do you think?
I totally agree with Coen, because, in Russia, their sports usually totally connected with propaganda. They use the symbolics, they use their flag, and they are, tend to sometimes even show that sign, that fascist sign. Remember how Russian sports, the athlete last year, racer, I guess, he was ZICH in there. That was terrible.
And what do you think then if certain sports people are neutral and want to do any kind of competition of sport, but they are neutral and they say, well, I'm not playing for Russia, but I'm playing neutral for myself, no flag, no nothing involved like that. Still not allowed, to your opinion?
I think no, because they still tend to provocate, as it was, you remember, with Irina Kharlan, who is the fencer. I hope that's the word. But yes, a Russian girl was provoking her to shake her hand, remember? They do that.
Yeah. It was big in the news. So our opinion, not allowed. Yeah. So we agree with, for example, England, who said we will not play. We will not.
Maybe sad for the children, but they have to feel no is no.
Yeah. Right.
And war is war.
Yeah. Also in the news, Stoltenberg said that Ukraine is gaining territory, and also Ukraine is more near to NATO than ever.
Today, your forces are moving forward. They face fierce fighting, but they are gradually gaining ground. Every meter that Ukrainian forces regains is a meter that Russia loses. And there is a stark contrast. Ukrainians are fighting for their families, their future, their freedom. Moscow is fighting for imperial delusions.
Yes. Yeah, so Ukraine is near to the NATO. We will talk about that a lot during the show. We're also asking people what they think about it, but that will later be explained by Eric. But also he said that sorry.
They win more territory.
They win more territory. They win territory in the south and also in the east. You heard about this, Rick? There are some gainings.
Yeah, of course. You know, guys, that the counteroffensive near Bakhmut was advancing since the beginning of summer, and it's really hard to do that because Russians are throwing countless number of their cannon fodder, those people who cannot do anything like in military way because they are not well prepared. But they can still be in those trenches, and while they're there, we need to spend our forces on them, the ammunition, of course, and of course people must go into the trenches. Before any Ukrainian soldier is in the trench, that trench considers Russian. This is why it is very bad.
It sounds like that there's less and less munition. There's no armor to fire.
You mean we don't have enough bullets or shells to fire?
Yes, that's what I mean.
Well, fortunately, our partners providing us with more shells and ammunition and bullets, so there's no lack of them there on the advance point, but I guess there is still shortages on the defense places, defense lines.
Very clear, Rick. Rick, you stay with us the whole show, but now we're going to the statement of the week.
Yes, statement of the week on our YouTube channel. All the viewers can give their opinion. They can also ask questions. I will start with the statement. Statement is, NATO should admit Ukraine as soon as possible. Then you have 4 possibilities, and already people start to give their opinion. So on this moment, we just started, we have 71% who says yes. Ukraine's war is ours too. The second option is also yes. 29% says yes, we must stand by our friends. And then, and this is a little bit strange, I think, because this never happened before. The other 2 options you have to answer is both no and is both 0% yet. And this is no. Ukraine is not yet a member, and when you're not a member, it's not possible to get into the NATO.
And you cannot get a member to be a member during wartime.
Yes, yes, yes. And no, it could bring the war closer. So this is also dangerous for us. And also 0%. And then also, someone start to ask a question on both of you. It is Slava Ukraini, and this man or the woman writes, if you're watching this show and you are in America, you should call your senators and representatives and tell them to continue to add the Ukraine. It's really important, and maybe Franky and Coen into the bridge can mention this on their show. Oh, yes, we did.
We did. No. We did it right now. So that's done. Thank you, Eric, for that. Very clear. So the statement is to kind of, well, it's very clear. Ukraine should be as quickly as possible added to the NATO, and until now everybody is pro. So also the answer which we were afraid of a little bit, that people would say, well, by adding them to the NATO we pull the war a little bit to us, because then it's NATO, so we're technically in war with Russia.
Yeah, you have this Article 5, and Article 5 in the NATO says if you have war with one of the NATO countries, you have war with all of the NATO countries. And yeah, this is something we should not think light about. This is very heavy.
Yeah, it is really heavy, but we stand behind Ukraine, and
Yeah, but we were not sure if everybody is.
No, this is from
and of
the,
course, our viewers, of course, are interested in the Ukrainian war.
That's
so it doesn't say that it's well, good
That is
representative
nationwide.
of nationwide.
Right.
But Rick, I think it must be good for you to hear that all of them say yes, should join to the NATO as quickly as possible, because I assume it's also your opinion, or not?
Yeah, guys, you know, as a Ukrainian, I would love to get into NATO right away, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that. We live in a real world and we still need to win this war. With their help, though, I'm really hoping that this new format, you know, the summit, not the summit, but Council, NATO-Ukraine, will give its fruits.
Yes. And they're discussing and negotiating a lot. And well, Stoltenberg said they are as near as they have ever been. So it doesn't say too much, but it sounds positive.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. Well, we'll see later during the show what people think about it. Because right now we're going to another location in Ukraine. Rick stays with us, but we're also going to talk now with ALYONA live from Kramatorsk. Hello, ALYONA. How are you?
Hi guys, thank you very much. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you. First, how are you doing?
Very good. We're today working with the troopers in very close to Solidar, and like always, speaking with many positive from our militaries. That's why I'm good. Everything okay.
Good to hear. You just heard the statement. Ukraine should be added to the NATO as quickly as possible. What's your opinion on this?
It's very simple for me. Of course, I'm two hands up. We have to as fast as possible, but we all understand it's very difficult right now. Of course, it means if Ukraine will be there, of course, it's a war for the other countries, and that's why it's a very difficult question. But for me, like always, all good news and everything, you know, like other countries can do for us, or help with a weapon or something else. It's of course it's good. That's why I think it will be perfect, but I think it's not now.
Are there any people in Ukraine you think, Coen, who are against joining NATO quickly? Because there are still some pro-Russian people also.
That's what I want to say. The pro-Russian don't like it, but I think the rest of the real Ukrainian, they are pro-Ukrainian, never say no.
And do you think that it might pull us closer to the war? Because
could be.
What do you think about this, ALYONA? First, do you think there's anybody in Ukraine, well, is there a serious percentage people in Ukraine who do not want to join NATO? Or do you think that almost everybody wants to?
Actually, the situation has changed. I wanted to say that before February, 2022, I'm also working on television, and it was we many times speaking with the people, even here, and pro-Ukrainian people, and speak about this. Yes, and many people. It was like 30% was yes, and 70% was no. But right now, situation is changed. Everyone see what kind of war. Right now, Russia make dangerous from the Russia. That's why I think many people right now thinking yes, it's fast as possible. But right now, many people afraid about we have to discuss something with Russia and speak about some territories to stop this war. First problem right now.
Clear. This week, Coen and Eric, ALYONA was on a trip. She went to New York.
New York is one of the few settlements that has been on the front line since 2014. Only a kilometer separates the village from Russian soldiers, and the occupiers are burning New York with their shells almost every day. Over the years of Russian aggression, New York has been bombarded with everything. Recently, the Russian replaced artillery shelling with aviation.
Доходило до того, що за світовий день, там, з 8 до 8 вечора по 6 фабів не прилітало, з них 4 500-х, 2 250-х, і це от ця неділя спокійніша. А так мінімум 2 кожну добу до мене на селище прилітає. На селище мінімум 2 кожного.
Ну і життя нью-йоркців забирають.
Да, забирають.
Local residents already clearly know what is flying into a populated area. The sounds of aircraft missiles can be distinguished from the operation of an air defense system.
Нету ж такого мягкого. Это каждым уголком, каждый выступом может человека убить.
А какой звук, когда ФАП летит? Чем вот какой, как отличить?
Это как машина на скорости, знаете, вот по скачкам она прыгает, и летит она не разбирая. Ракета так не идет, ракета летит почти не. Ее слышно, но не так, она не так громко.
Most of the people remaining in New York are retirees. Their life is simple: housekeeping, collection firewood for cooking over a fire, and the belief that the shelling will one day stop.
Ну, особливо кому, до кого є їхати. Є діти, де родичі.
Вам не до кого?
Ні, сидимо тут. Значить, нам Господь Бог управив тут бути. Так що ми тут.
In 2014, New York was under Russian occupation for about 3 months. Then Ukrainian troops drove the aggressor out of the village and built a powerful defense line, which is still too strong for the Russian invaders. From Donetsk region, specially for Franky and Coen.
Yes, Alyona, New York is very near to Kramatorsk?
Not very close. I think maybe 40-45 kilometers from Kramatorsk.
Yeah, okay, but I mean to say it's in the Donbass, and it's a very little village which has been occupied. The people have been liberated, but still they hear the bombings every day.
Yeah, I hear that in the film. At the beginning there, you have to duck away from the shelling.
There were some...
I was very scared, guys, because before the men who live here said, oh, this week was very quiet. And then we almost sitting in the car to drive away and begin the strikes. It was very close to, I think, 200 meters from us. It was aviation board. That's
Wow.
why, yes, it's a dangerous place. But the people afraid only one more time to be occupied by Russians.
So the people who live there, none of them would like to live under the Russians. Everybody there is absolutely on the side of the Ukraine, and they are not even afraid. They're not going away, not because of the bombings. They're only afraid the Russians to return.
Yes, because New York was occupied, and they remember everything. And sometimes it's very heavy stories from the people. But they still live here, and right now understand that is winter, cold winter in the future, and without gas, this village and this city is close to New York, without light and almost without water.
How far is this from the front line?
No, a few hundred meters.
Kilometers, like Avdiivka, guys. It's like the same.
Wow.
Yeah, it can, because it's artillery is coming in most of the time, right? Most artillery, yes. And from the planes also the drop, how I understood. But airplanes from occupied territories and mines also, mines. And mines also. So yeah, these people live in continuously fear, because any moment it could return. It's civilians, and the Ukrainian army is nearby.
Yes, of course. Ukrainian positions not change from 2014, and 1 kilometer from the Ukrainian position, and between Russian position and Ukrainian position, gray zone. Yes, the guys said only 200 or 300 meters. That's Russian very close to.
Wow.
Wow, yes. Yeah, Rick is also here. Rick, if you've had any questions, you can come in between, because it's Ukraine, it's your country. Unbelievable how some people in Ukraine are living.
Oh, yeah, you're totally right. Hi, ALYONA. I hope you're okay. And yes, I'm happy that you're okay after being in New York, because it's very dangerous. You said New York was under occupation. Was it in 2014?
Yes, 3 months, or almost around 3 months it was occupied.
In 2014, or it was occupied lately also?
No, lately no. Only 2014, and then our army make a good defense line.
They live almost on the gray zone, you can say. It's on the Ukrainian side, but directly against the gray zone.
Yes, very close.
So almost on zero. So it's extremely dangerous. I can imagine that. Yeah.
How you get food? No electricity, no gas.
Is that so? There's no food?
Food I don't know, but how you get food?
How did you get the food?
How get food? Many volunteers bring the food there. Sometimes it's funny. It's looking like funny because you hear the strikes, bomb somewhere close, somewhere on the front line. Yeah, it's very close, but it's open the shops with the food.
Like the small shops, like small convenience stores, like we see everywhere.
For food, you need money, and the old lady, what I see in your movie, I don't think she's rich.
Yes, but she get money from the government, some help from because she's.
And what we did see near to the front line, there was almost no foreign help organization, so there are volunteers, but is it mainly Ukrainian volunteers or also international?
And international, and of course Ukrainian, because for these people almost every day the government proposed to make evacuation. We see the bus, but the bus was only a couple old ladies because they doesn't have houses. This moment they decide to move in from New York to children. I said before, you don't have any children or somebody you can go? Yes, we have, and they live in the Kyiv and Dnipro. I said, why are you staying here such a long time? Because they're watching to my house, yes. But right now the house is destroyed and they decide to leave. But it's not many. Right now almost 2,000 people still live in New York.
Wow.
And then the future winter, cold winter, and many problems, without gas, without everything.
I can imagine. Let's hope that this war ends quickly. ALYONA, thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, thank you very much. And we'll speak to each other soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you for you too.
Bye, ALYONA.
I can imagine, Coen, that a lot of people who live there, they might believe in God, but I think if you have to live this life, I think they maybe feel themselves lost from God, I think.
And lost from everything.
And lost from everything. So, what if God was one of us?
Як буде ніч на годиннику нулі, і пекло настане та на землі, оплачуть святі нашу долю таку, та Спаситель прилетить із неба на літаку.
Герої і дітей дістають з-під руїн. Я стискаю кулаки від безсилля, але не знаходжу відповідей. Якби Бог був кимось з нас, яким був би його наказ, чи закрив би небеса, під якими був би сам. Навчив, що добро перемагає, та насправді часто геть навпаки. А може, то просто я не осягаю вищі цілі і всевишні думки. Заповідає життя після смерті, але тут стільки смерті після життя. Я є частинка твоя, та ти, напевно, відчуваєш геть не так, як я. Так, так, ти є добрий. Так, так, ти є мудрий. Так, 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 так. Якби Бог був кимось з нас, яким був би його наказ, чи закрив би небеса, під якими був би сам. Якби Бог був кимось з нас, яким був би його наказ, чи кипіти здатна кров того, хто сама любов, хто основа всіх основ.
To me, this song is extremely touching. Coen?
Yeah, for me the same.
Yeah.
And what I see, we see that when we drive there, and
It looks like what we've seen before.
Yeah,
I have to mention this is a song from Angie Kreida. She made also other songs which are very nice. One of the songs, she is like a witch and putting a spell on well, on the Russian enemies. But this song, it's very
she
touching.
lets us feel what we feel there. If you see this movie from her, we drive in these kind of cities.
You're a singer.
Yeah, this is a very good song. The original song is already very good, but this is even better because this has got a lot of emotion in it. And yeah, you both of you have been there, so for you it would be more emotional. Also for me, I've not been in the Ukraine, but also for me it's
and although
emotional.
you don't speak the language, it's touching.
You feel
yeah?
it, yes.
I get maybe 20% of this text because I speak Russian a little bit better than Ukrainian. Ukrainian for me is very poor. But how is this feel for this song for Rick? Did you know the song?
Yeah, of course I know the original version, but I've never heard one from Angie Kreida. Thank you guys for introducing this to me, and I really want to thank you for putting the music here because this is something I also try to do on my streams. I try to bring people some more of Ukrainian culture, you know, our music too, as I was doing on the previous stream. And yeah, something new, something very touching, of course. Of course, it is very hard to watch all those ruins. And yeah, we unfortunately seeing them in the news every day because every day many towns, villages, and cities too are getting shelled, bombarded, and missile attacked. So this is hard to watch this music video.
And actually, in the song, I think she's referring to the protection of the sky, which you would like to have. It's a double. What if God could do that? But actually, she's asking in the song kind of for extra protection in the sky over the whole country, I assume. Very, very touching song, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, the song, but also the imaging, the ruins.
The video, yes. The video is just heartbreaking, definitely.
Yes. Well, we've been talking about the news. You already were adding your comments on the news. But how was your week, and what did you see, and what is news from your side?
It was a good week for me because I didn't have to work. I took a week off and I finished my next dub. So if you guys haven't watched it, go to my channel and check it out. It was just premiered just 2 days ago. It is a very, extraordinary Russian prisoner of war, and he tells a lot of interesting stories. Very needed to check out. But going to the news, I wanted to...
One second, where can people find this topic,
on my
this
channel,
video?
Rick the Ukrainian, video section. It's going to be the first video. It is called The Only Wise Russian Soldier. Yes, not just Russian. So this Russian soldier, I won't give you any spoilers, but he's unique. He is the only one who deserves my respect. So if you guys want to see that, please go on my channel and check it out.
We will.
It is something you have respect for a Russian soldier.
But Rick has a lot of videos dubbed from soldiers in captivity who have been interviewed. So and they are really interesting. I don't know if I watched all, but I think so. It is very interesting. So and this one I want to see myself as well. Returning to the news or whatever came to you.
Yes, so of course we have seen Kursk being bombed. So let's watch the video you, Franky, prepared this time. It wasn't me.
Так що, Москва, скільки там до тебе кілометрів? Волонтер Сергій Притула та громадський активіст і блогер Сергій Стерненко продемонстрували, на що витратили гроші, які зібрали на спільно кошті кілька місяців тому. Тоді, 10 жовтня, після масованого ракетного обстрілу інфраструктури України, Притула і Стерненко, а також блогер Ігор Лаченков оголосили збір під назвою «На помсту». Заявили, що закуплять щонайменше 500 дронів камікадзе українського виробництва РЕМ-2. Менш ніж за добу вдалося зібрати близько 350 мільйонів гривень. Тож і подарунки для московитів тепер будуть особливіші.
Ці, власне, дрони, як ми і заявляли, вони будуть літати до 30 кілометрів і нищити російську техніку. І, що дуже важливо, їхні засоби протиповітряної оборони.
Ще у нас будуть ті, які будуть летіти на 200 кілометрів і найсмачніше...
На 800.
Россияне, в эту игру можно играть вдвоем.
Спокійної ночі, Москва.
Українці, спасибі за донати. Працюємо далі.
I'm really happy to see this video. Thank you that you used this exact one, because these two volunteers are legendary here in Ukraine, Serhiy Prytula and Serhiy Sternenko. These two guys are raising funds for also this big project. So this time, this winter, not only Ukraine will be having power outages, but Russia too, because we can play this game like two of us, right? Both of us. So this winter is going to be interesting, not only for us. Interesting, when I say it, you know that I mean not interesting, because sitting without lights and without heating is not fun. And Russia was terrorizing us with it. But we're, we Ukrainians are using this to disable their military infrastructure. Because they need to produce those rockets and Shahed drones, which they are now producing in Russia.
Yeah, and two can play this game. This is kind of like on many subjects. When Russia does something to Ukraine, Ukraine showed that they can do the same to Russia. That's actually the idea of two can play this game. So if Russia destroys electronic facilities, then Ukraine can do the same. And that's actually what they say, we're going to do the same.
Yeah, but they do now only military. But
no, last week they did some electric...
yeah, from the military. But are they going to do it also with...
That's what they say.
City?
That's what they say. They are warning Russia, what you do to us, we're going to do to you. That's kind of what they mean with two can play the game. Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct. And, Russian citizens must understand what war is, what they are actually committing to Ukraine, and what they are part of. So this is important. So the simple citizens will feel the consequences that they brought to other people. They only, feel in this in the end when all the Russia will feel the consequences of this war, and they will understand that war is going. Only then they will start putting their government down and start protesting, really protesting, like with weapons, not like before with those blank sheets.
Yeah, but I understand a lot of Russian people are scared, but if they see that there's going to be a result for not changing the government or for not doing something, that may give them the power to do something more, maybe. That's the idea.
Yeah, let's hope so, that the people go on the street and demonstrate.
I think there's also a difference between the Russian and the Ukrainian people. I don't think that the Ukrainian people would accept the Russian, the Ukrainian people would not accept if the Ukrainian government would make big mistakes. They would stand up and they would say something and they would do something. And in Russia, until now, that's not the case, except for a few exceptions.
Yeah, but if you say something bad about Putin or the government, you're in jail.
Yeah, but what if 1 million people say it at the same time?
That's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
That would be the solution. If there I think, I'm sure that there are more Russian people who want to have peace than they want to have war. And if all the people who want peace go out on the streets at the same time, millions of people, then it would be solved. But how do you get them on the street? How can you reach them?
Before to Romania with Ceausescu. They did it also. They were also scared, but at one moment they changed their attitude altogether. Everybody was protesting and doing something, and that was the end.
They need the right push to stand up, and
let's hope that makes that at some point they do that, and hope. Well, soon there must be done something. I don't think that Putin has the much support anymore that he had before. I can see it when we speak to Russian people with chat roulette. The opinion is different than before. It's almost winter, so let's hope that something changes. Any more in the news, Rick?
Yeah, actually, we can talk about counteroffensive because it is going, and yes, it is not that fast as everyone wants this, but it is still going. So, what do you see in the counteroffensive, guys? What do you think about it? Do you think it's slow? Do you think it's how it could be in such a circumstances? What are your thoughts?
It is always too slow. But let's start with Stoltenberg. Stoltenberg was clear. There are advances made both in the south and the east. Yeah, and yes.
The Black Sea, Crimea.
But yes, it's slow because if you look at how do you call the map? The map.
Deep state map.
Yes, deep state map. You see only little progression, but there is progression. Yes, it is slow, but don't forget there's everywhere landmines, and you have to go to the first lines before they get to the weaker defense lines. Yes, it is. Is it too slow?
It feels too slow, but if you have a field with 100 mines and you have to take them away, it does take a long time, and also
you don't know where
you
they
are in the field, dus they can shoot you.
So, Rick, what do you think?
Guys, the problem is you're talking about the weaker defense line, but there is no weaker defense line there. When we are advancing to those heavily, defended lines, our forces, taking some time to take them because they're heavily enforced. While they're doing that, Russians are enforcing the back lines. So it's a constant process of enforcing. They are constantly building concrete fortifications there. They are mining those fields that are still not mined. So it's not that simple. It's not like it was in Kharkiv. They didn't have enough time last year to prepare all of that, but they had a whole year to mine everything, to put concrete walls there. So it's not going to be an easy walk. And actually, unfortunately, if we received those armored vehicles, those tanks earlier, as we asked for. If it wasn't dragging and delaying constantly, it could be much better. But we unfortunately have what we have right now.
It is so that every time Ukraine gets what they want, but always too late. If for example, let's say half a year ago they would have the opportunities they have now, it would be a different situation. And every time, of course, Russia also makes progression in weaponry and in ideas and development. So I do understand this. But we talked about it before. They should give all the weapons possible as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And some countries are afraid. They say, well, if we do that, then maybe if the Russians come nearer to us, we don't have the right weapons. But in that, they forget that if they are already destroyed by the Ukrainians, they won't get that far. So I think that keeping the weapons behind for ourselves is not clever, because they could be used already on the field right now, and it makes it more certain that Russians don't get further.
But they are scared for nuclear bombs.
Yeah, but nuclear bombs is nuclear bombs. It doesn't have to do, into my opinion, with the weapons which we give. If they use it, they use it. But I don't think, could they be that stupid, Rick, that they would use the nuclear bombs?
No, guys, 99.99% they won't use nuclear weapons, even if we deoccupy the last centimeter of Ukrainian territory. There's a, like 1,000% that they will use it, because Russia is a bully. Russia understands only force, and Russia is like every bully, they will try to intimidate everyone and scare everyone with their weapons or with those nuclear bombs. But it is only said to scare everyone. And unfortunately, it is working. For example, as you know, it's working on Germany, and Scholz is not currently giving us Taurus missiles because he's scared of nuclear war, as he says it. But the problem is
that they are scared.
Yeah, they are.
They're scared. But guys, I know that you are the country who's not scared, and I'm really grateful to you and your government for being the first country to give us F-16s. Yes, they're still not here in Ukraine, but you are given so many of them. 51, if I'm not mistaken.
42, right? I've heard 42. But
42, but 51 is you have in total, right? And those 9 left, you're going to be using to train our pilots.
Probably, yeah. I've heard anyway that 42 is going to Ukraine.
You think you're going to think there's a big difference in there?
Oh yeah, F-16 is going to make a big difference, because they're going to help us to get rid of, to scare off the planes of Russians, because they don't have such a range of detection.
But they have more.
They have more, but they cannot actually use all of them here in Ukraine. They still keep like 70% of them on Russian territory, and it's just a matter of time while we destroy all of their planes with our F-16s, because F-16 has a further range of detection, They can shoot those Russian planes from further distance. Russians cannot detect F-16s from that far. That's the difference.
Anyway, it's good news that Ukraine makes advances, for example, in Bakhmut.
Yes. And you guys, today I've read the article from Deep State. They were saying that near Andriivka, our forces just came, like a week ago, they came closer to the railroad that is after Andriivka. They're pushing Russians, but that's a crazy meat grinder there. They are saying that there are multiple bodies lying there. Everything is covered with bodies, and we cannot even identify who is Russian or Ukrainian. This is very, very sad, and we must remember what are the consequences of this war.
This sounds terrible, but let's have a look at the video about Bakhmut.
It's time for Worldview with Tom Sufi-Burridge in Ukraine, where Ukrainian President Zelensky is claiming his forces are making more progress in eastern Ukraine. This comes as U.S. Abrams tanks and long-range missiles arrive on the battlefield. Tom Sufi-Burridge is there. Tom, what's the latest?
Yeah, Diane, 31 advanced American Abrams tanks, Diane, now arriving here in Ukraine, says Zelensky. Now, that's an important boost, but that number of tanks isn't necessarily a game changer. Ukraine's progress in the east is important. Ukrainian commanders telling us they are progressing inch by bloody inch in that area. They're threatening to encircle the city of Bakhmut. Now, politically speaking, Bakhmut is important for the Kremlin. The Russians took heavy losses capturing that ruined city, so Ukrainian advances in that area are tying down Russian forces in the east, while Ukrainian forces try and move forward on the main axis of attack in the south. Now, some recent Ukrainian progress in that area of the front lines too, but a decisive breakthrough still elusive for Ukraine's army in its now 4-month-long counter-offensive.
Yes, Rick, that shows about the advantage been made. Quite a lot, as we understood.
Yeah, the advance is successful, especially on the south of Bakhmut. Not that great on the north, but still some advancements been made there. It's just not that easy position because Russians hold in the height and they can see everything from that height, and it's much easier for them to hold there.
Yes, Rick, thank you for so far for this topic. You stay with us because we're going to talk also about our upcoming trip to Ukraine.
Awesome. Awesome, guys. Good luck.
Before we talk about the upcoming trip, I would like to ask some questions of the viewers, and that has to do with that a lot of viewers ask me, can you ask Franky and Coen, where have they been? Where have they been, and how did it start? And why frights?
It started in my office, I think, when the total war just started, so in February last year. I had a food truck which I was not using at that time. It was for the summer, and so in March I had the idea maybe to go to the Polish-Ukrainian border to fry fries. So I called Coen and asked Coen, would you like to go with me?
Yeah, at that moment.
What did you think, Coen, when he asked you?
I was shocked.
Yes, of course.
I was shocked. Go to the border and I listened about his story, what he wanted to do, and I said, give me a half hour, and in a half hour I give you a yes or no if I go with you to the Polish border. And the thinking was very fast. It was only in 5 minutes a call back. Yeah. I said, okay, we go.
And we went. And we thought it would be only one trip, because we went here. It is the Polish-Ukrainian border. The town is called Przemyśl in Poland, and we have been there in total, I think, 3 times. And near the border, there were thousands of people coming over the border every day.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, Coen.
And how they come over the border and how they sleep in a big room, more than 2,000 people in one room.
Yeah, like a huge hypermarket which was made empty, and there they slept. And they came to us for the French fries so much we couldn't handle them all. It was really 2,000 portions per day, every day, and we could start early in the morning and we could end late in the evening. There was no
always customers.
There were always people.
But now you say this interesting thing. You talk about French fries, and French fries are well known all over the world. The small ones, but this what you give the people are really Dutch fries.
No. We give the French fries there because the Dutch fries take 4 minutes to fry, and we have what we call turbo fries. It's 90 seconds because the faster you can fry them, the more you can give out.
People you can help.
And we've been there in total 3 times, I think.
3 times.
The plan was only to go 1 time, but after we've been there 1 or 2 times, we came into the media.
Yeah,
a lot of attention in the media.
Yeah, from newspapers to television.
We've been in every talk show in the Netherlands except for 2, and that also made that we got support.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people who wanted to help us.
Because in the beginning you didn't have a website, you didn't have a name for you just had an idea.
You just go for 1 week.
Yeah.
But when we drive back, we already said we can go again. Only the funding was empty.
Yeah.
And
you see all the TV shows, and it started actually with a local TV program, and yeah, it became more and more. People tried to find us, how can we help you guys with financially, or with fries, or with snacks, and all kind of things they gave us, and that actually, gave us the opportunity, the possibility to carry on financially, because in the beginning it was with our own money, but it became too big, and yes, that made us also go over the border.
Yeah, when did you decide to cross the border?
Because we heard that on the other side of the border it's even worse, and we did not have the guts to go far because we didn't know about Ukraine. So we only went to this part of the Ukraine. But first thing actually, what I never will forget is when we crossed the border, there was a guy playing piano and singing songs of peace, and he was there for weeks and weeks, every day.
He put wheels under his piano.
We should listen to it.
Cool.
He was there every day.
Every day, and what we cannot see in this movie, on top, they're waiting with their passports and their luggage to get over the border.
It's exactly on the border. Yeah. People crossing the border, actually from Ukraine to Poland. The people wanted to get out of the country. It was very, very terrible at that moment. And actually, over that border, we went to mostly Lviv area, but all kind of little towns, west of Ukraine.
Modular towns. We go to
towns,
an old apartment building. Was full of people.
It was an apartment building. You have to say it was without heating. It was without heating or nothing. But temporary, they gave the people there a place to stay, and people there were. It was not organized well yet, no. So they were really without money, and they were really hungry.
And they're pushing each other to get.
Yeah, but I see something interesting in this video. I see you also you give them the fries, but you also give them snacks. Yeah. And these snacks, these are really Dutch snacks.
Absolutely Dutch.
The people don't know these snacks. How did they respond on this when you gave them these Dutch snacks?
I think they loved it from the first moment. Only, well, they were not used, but if we call it Dutch sausage instead of frikandel, it's okay. So
they love the kip corn.
And that was snacks. You see the children also. We let them themselves scoop the fries and put on the snacks, and that was really nice. But even you see, it's nice. Yeah. Even more. It was hitting us when we went further from here. We went to actually more to the Kiev area. There's Bucha, Irpin, Borodyanka, and we came there in the evening when we went there the first time. And this is what we saw in the morning.
The first street. Yeah. The first street, and that was the first moment we are feeling what war does with the buildings, with the people.
In this whole street were maybe 2 or 3 houses kind of standing. And what was terrible, what really made it emotional, you see the cars in front of the houses. And that means that probably these people were at home. Because if you try to get out, you take your car with you first. And the cars are still there. So I think they were at home when this all happened. And this town has been catch really by surprise. And in this area also, when we were serving snacks, it was so extremely busy.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
It is still this
Borodyanka. You see the flats on the background.
Yeah.
We spoke to a lady out of this flat, and she said that a lot of people died by the first rocket which came in, but people tried to run away. They were not allowed. They were killed by tanks driving over them. They got shot, so they stayed inside, went to the basements for as much as possible. Yeah. But then 10-15 minutes later came a second rocket. So a lot of people died when they were in the...
This is in Hostomel.
This is Hostomel, yeah, near the airport.
That was the longest row we had.
Yeah.
And we started at 11 o'clock. And yeah, 5, 6 o'clock we run out of fries, but wow.
Sometimes we had more than 200 meters.
What happened when you run out of fries?
We never run out of fries.
Oh,
we have never been run out of fries.
No.
We always had enough fries, but at a certain moment you're finished. It's
too long day.
It's a too long day, and there it was very easy. When you started, you see how long the row is. When you started until when you end, you're all the time at the row, and on a certain moment you have to stop, and then you say, okay, last hour, and you just don't take new people getting into the row. That was very heavy, but very nice was with Christmas. Christmas was really great. We had several locations.
Yeah, several locations, from orphanage house with children that are not mentally ill, and they were from 7 years old to 75 years old.
57, yeah.
And yeah, you see them here on the pictures. They have fun with us. I had a hat on. It was moving and everybody...
I was Father Christmas on a certain moment, but I decided not to put that in the film, in the movie.
And where is this on the map? Which area is this?
This is all, no, this is all, this with the children is here, but most of the Christmas we did there.
In the Kiev
also
area.
Location, yeah, Kiev area. It's not Kiev, but it's near to Kiev. And after that, we went to East for the first time.
Yeah.
And
how did you decide where to go? Where do you get the ideas where to go?
Firstly, we had contacts.
Yeah, and they say you can go there, go there, go there. Some places we say go to.
People who know people who know people. Like this?
Not necessarily. Like in the East, it's always with army or local government or administration from that area. But that's always, you cannot just go there. And actually, the first time in East, he was kind of alone. He was in Kharkiv, Izum, and Smiev. I was ill in bed. I was terribly ill. So
and he said, I want to go home. But I said, no. I go.
You go alone.
I go alone.
So
because we promised to people we go to. One place was only children.
Oh yes. Yeah.
And the children, you can. If you say
you didn't want to disappoint them.
No, of course not. And yeah, and Izum, I've been also, and I worked the most.
And then we went to several locations in the East, a lot of militaries also, we served food. It was, and this is what you see now is Avdeevka. It was probably the most impressive location where we have been. Yeah. We didn't fry fries there, but in this town, not one building is completely standing.
And you see also the other, what we filmed was, the dirt was gone. It was building destroyed, but here you see everything is still there at the same place.
And then we fried in this area. You can better show all the time we were there in several locations, and there also Avdeevka is also in that area. And then, of course, the last day that we worked there, we in the evening were sitting in the restaurant in Kramatorsk, in the Ria restaurant, and that's when it went terribly wrong.
Nee, ik heb helemaal... Weet je dat? Helemaal. Geef je iemand anders. Had je dat babytje gezien? Nee. Ik wil die kant weer op. Wij gaan niet die kant op. Ah.
Yeah, here Coen is going to the car.
And the car moved the car. There was fire. Dus to be sure that we still have a car, and move it away.
The car was heavily damaged, but also you see more and more people come to help. And we did not want to be in the way with our car. It was a terrible day. Many people died. We don't want to think too much about this.
No.
But in our next trip, maybe we go to Kramatorsk again.
Okay.
Everything we say now is not for sure, because everything is depending on the situation of the moment.
Yeah.
But the plan is like this. We want to start in Ternopil. That we can say is confirmed, is for sure. Well,
that's the first time you go there.
Yes, the first time that we go there, but somewhere in that area, we don't say the exact area, but somewhere in the area, we are going to a military hospital to serve them with food.
And then we drive to Kiev.
We drive to Kiev, but we're not going to fry fries there. But anyway, I put there something. Well, there's a lot. This is Kiev area, and there we go to bring the goods to my relatives.
Yeah.
Tanya, my wife, who also does a lot of the translations. Her sister is there, and we will bring goodies to her, all kind of things.
And we're going to pick up the fries there.
And we're going to pick up the fries, very important, because we go with a lot of goods there, but only for a few days fries. So for here we are sure that we have fries. But there we take more fries. And then we go, if everything goes well, to Mykolaievska area. We don't know exactly where in this oblast they call it, so I will just put it there. But somewhere there we will go. And from there, depending on the situation on that moment, is the plan to go to Odessa.
Yep.
But once again, depending on the situation.
And is the Odessa the first time, or have you been there
we have
before?
never been to Odessa. No,
the first time.
No.
Okay.
It is our first time in Odessa, and we have been invited to go there. So let's hope so. Also, when we're in the Mykolaiv area, we every time we'll go back to location in Mykolaiv area where it's safe to stay overnight. And then we want to go to Kherson. We have been there already before, but that's the plan to go there again. In Kherson, we have been frying fries over 2,000 portions per day.
Yeah, it was really busy there.
There also, they wanted us to use the safety vests, but it's almost impossible to work with that. And
it's heavy, yeah?
And the people who visited us are also not wearing vests. From that, we go in direction Zaporozhye.
Zaporozhye.
It's also a dangerous area.
Yep.
Well, we hope it's not that dangerous when we are there. And
this area,
Zaporozhye is they call Oblast, is a province. So we will really take good safety measurements.
Yes, of course.
We will.
We don't forget what we had in Kramatorsk.
How long is your trip planned? How many days you will go to the Ukraine?
Let's say 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah, it's going to be quite a long trip.
Okay.
From Zaporozhye, we go to somewhere. Well, it's somewhere in exact location. We
around here,
but it's some little bit more down because it's still in the Zaporozhye province.
Oh yeah.
So it's somewhere there.
They asked to come, that we are going to bake.
And then we are going to go to the Donbass. Yep. Donbass is this area where all those. All our trailers, we have been there already on a lot of locations. I think maybe 10 locations, 15 locations in that area. Some of them we did twice. Well, let's put just one there, but actually it's going to be several locations.
But also, yeah, if it is too dangerous, we go to another.
It's also very near on the occupied area, of course.
Yeah, that is where. Yeah, the province is, but we will see where exactly we go there. But we go in this area, and then we go to Kharkiv.
Where's this? Kharkiv?
Kharkiv is there. Anyway, if we go back, then it's a more logical direction to go over Kharkiv. And we are asked to do one day near Sumy, but that's just a 50-50 that we will go there. Let's stick one there, but it's not for sure. Sumy. And then actually the trip is kind of done. Maybe on our way back we will visit one orphanage or something, because it's still a lot to drive, and if somewhere halfway you can do some work that makes the trip more
Some people
pleasant.
don't know, it is a really big country. Drive from here to here is around 1,400 kilometers.
Yeah, okay. So
yeah, if we are here, we're just halfway.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how big the country is. One
Just
trip
to drive
per
to
car
there is 1,400. but the country itself...
Same as well, yeah.
Per car we do about 7,000 kilometers. So
if people are watching now and they want to do something, they want to help you, what do you need? What can they do to help you?
They can have a look at our website, and there's several things what they could do.
That's Franky and Coen.nl.
Yeah, correct.
That's easy.
Well, this is, well, we hope we kind of explained what is the plan. After we will show what came out of it, I mean, in a few weeks from now.
And you will send, of course, some updates in our social media as well.
Yeah, because actually next week we don't have the show, but we will do it a bit later. We will do an update at the same time, but it's going to be impossible. It was the plan to do the show live from there, but it's
difficult. I understand.
Very difficult because we will be very busy.
Yeah.
But not only busy, the network is not always...
Yep. Yes, I think, well, we made this kind of clear, and I think it's almost time for a statement of the week.
Yeah. The statement has still NATO should admit Ukraine as soon as possible. It has changed a little bit, but not so much. Still 70% is yes, Ukraine's war is ours too. 23% say yes, we must stand by our friends. 0.5% says no, Ukraine is not yet a member, and you cannot be a member when a country is in war. And 2% says no, it could bring the war too close here.
Thank you. Rick, you heard it. You still hear it?
I wonder who that 2% is.
You want to visit him or what?
No, not visit, but maybe just look them in the eyes. I'm kidding, guys. You know that I'm a kind guy, and I actually respect each other people's opinions. And I think, of course, we might, as NATO member, some might think that we might pose a threat, but we're actually going to be a shield of NATO, to be honest, and we proved that already.
Let's hope that will be done soon. Rick, I thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Have a safe trip, guys.
Yeah, maybe we will be in Kiev. I don't know the exact date, but I will let you know. Maybe we see each other there, can have a dinner or something somewhere, eat something.
Would be awesome.
Or we can open our truck to make one French fries for you.
Yeah, we can do that.
With a fricadelle.
Rick, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Erik, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Koen, thank you very much. And yeah, I have to say, next week there will be no show, the next 3 weeks, because we will be in the Ukraine, and it's really not technically possible. It's too much. We have too much work there. It's impossible. But we will give an update at the same time that we normally do this show, so people, you can still watch. And keep in mind, have a look at our social media, because we will do daily, well, nearly daily updates, so you can follow our trip, what we're doing there. Thank you all very much, and we see each other in a few weeks. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.